Every single year, without fail, a new camera drops, and every single year, without fail, the internet goes crazy. All sorts going online. You're going to see a bunch of TikTok videos telling you it's the best camera out there. But the question you should ask is it worth upgrading? Should I sell my current gear? Is my footage going to look outdated? But I want to be careful here because this isn't a blanket statement. It's not that the new camera is pointless, it's that most people are buying them for the wrong reasons. And I say that as someone has spent a lot of money on cameras over the past years, arguably getting it wrong or even wasting money buying gear I don't actually need. Hopefully by the end of this video, you won't be in that same situation feeling like you wasted money on gear. Let me give you a bit of context and where I'm coming from, because I think it's really important that I articulate this from my own perspective and give you my unique story. The first camera I got was a Canon camera. But then I shifted over to Sony where the story really began, and I got the A6400, and it's great for getting started. This is a solid APS-C camera, and to be honest with you, I would recommend it as an entry camera for a lot of people out there. So the reason why I upgraded from the A6400 to the A7 IV was because I hit the limitation. I felt like I hit the ceiling of that camera and I was ready to upgrade. I'm really into taking photographs and also into making videos, so the A6400 just wasn't a sharp enough camera for my use cases. And when you're making content for other people, you want to have the best camera available for those use cases. So the A6400 no longer met my requirements and I hit the limitation, so it made sense for me to upgrade and get the better camera body. And then a few months later, in fact a few years later, I upgraded to the Sony FX3. Now this is a dedicated video camera. So across the years, I've had 4 different cameras, all of which are actually at different price points and have different use cases. It's taught me quite a bit about the journey about buying the right camera at the right time. Here's the thing about camera manufacturers, and I say this with the utmost respect because they do make incredible products, so they want you to believe the latest version of that new camera is the best thing. Here's the question that I don't think people really ask loud enough. So all these great new capabilities and features, how much they actually affect my final product, and will my audience even notice? Because if I showed you a side-by-side comparison of my FX3 and my A7 IV content that I posted on my social media accounts, would you be able to accurately tell which one is which? And I'm pretty confident the answer is no. At the end of the day, the person watching my content or even your content on their phone, on YouTube, on Instagram, they are not sitting there thinking about your color science. They're watching you. They're watching your story, your edit, your audio. They're watching your final product. And the reality is the spec sheet of those cameras, all those great features, don't actually translate to the viewer experience the way we convince ourselves that they actually do. Let me give you a concrete example, and this is one I see come up all the time. This is the A6400 versus the A6700, right? So the A6700 is objectively a better camera. I'm not going to lie to you, it has much better features and is way better product, right? It's got better autofocus, better dynamic range, but when you contextualize it and think about it from the perspective of maybe a solo creator shooting YouTube videos or social content specifically for Instagram or TikTok, the A6400 still produces footage that looks great. And most people won't even notice it because there are people monetizing channels, landing brand deals on that exact camera, or something that might even be older or arguably not as good. So the question isn't, is the A6700 better? Because it clearly is, right? It's a newer camera with newer features. The question is it worth the price difference from what you're actually making? And I actually have a previous video about this, about helping you choose your first camera, so make sure you check it out because that'll help you to answer the 4 critical questions before picking your first camera. In most cases, if you took that price difference and spent it on better lens, a decent wireless mic, or even a proper lighting setup, your content would improve more than if you just upgraded the body. I think that's the thing a lot of people consistently underestimate, because at the end of the day, it's the accessories and the add-ons that really moves the needle, right? Because a sharp primes lens on an older body will outperform the newest camera every single time. If I were to get the A6400 with a G Master and put the A6700 with like a kit lens, the A6400 will actually look a lot better and will surprise you just how good it can be with the right accessories and the right gear around it. When the A7 IV came out, I looked at it. I properly looked at it. I went through the specs, I watched the videos, I saw all the TikToks telling me about how amazing it was. But at the end of the day, I just couldn't justify buying it. Now, I want to be transparent here because I might be biased as I do own an FX3. My bar for what is a meaningful video upgrade is probably higher than average, but even setting that aside, for someone shooting a mix of photos and videos who already owns the A7 IV, I promise you the jump isn't there, not for what it costs. If you didn't have an A7 IV or an A7 V or a camera at all, maybe the A7 V might be a good camera depending on your budget. My honest advice, if someone asks me right now, I would say get the A7 IV at a discounted price, buying secondhand or used, and make sure you check out my other video where I talk about how to save money buying camera gear, and then put the extra money aside into a better lens or some audio or even a better light, because those things right there is what's really going to make your content stand out and look really, really good. It's not always about the camera body. Sometimes it's just about having the right gear and even executing a great idea, because with all that in place, you'll be in a better position than somebody who stretched out all their budget on just getting a camera. So now I do want to reference and talk about my move from the A7 IV to the FX3, because this is a slightly different story, and I think it's a very important distinction, because I don't want to be a hypocrite and say I got the best camera for whatever reason. That's not the actual case, because the A7 IV to FX3 wasn't just an upgrade, because I didn't buy the FX3 to replace my A7 IV. And that decision actually unlocked a lot more for me. Having two bodies means I can run an A and B camera on shoots. I've got a dedicated option for cinematic video work, and I've still got the A7 IV specifically for photography and taking pictures, because I genuinely love taking photos. That camera serves a creative need that the FX3 just doesn't cover for me, because at the end of the day, the FX3 is a great video camera, cinematic quality, some of the best stuff I've ever created on the FX3, but the A7 IV is a hybrid camera, great at taking photographs and videos, but not as good as the A7 IV, right? And for me, I like to think of that as intentional gear ownership. I wasn't just chasing spec, I was solving a real workflow problem. That's the difference I want you to take away from this. I think it's really important that you know yourself first and actually understand your use case, right? Because here's the honest truth. Choosing the right camera is always going to be case specific. Person A and person B are going to need very different cameras in most situations. Maybe my iPhone is good enough, or if I want to get into cinematic content, maybe I do need something like the FX3 or the FX30, because I have no interest in taking photographs, right? So before you spend every single pound on an upgrade, ask yourself these questions. What is my current camera actually stopping me from doing? Not what the spec sheet says it can't do. What is it stopping you from getting your final video done? If you can't name a specific limitation, I mean a real one, not a theoretical one, theoretical one, then you're not buying a camera, you're buying into the marketing. And if you can name a limitation, great. Now work backwards. Does the upgrade actually solve it? I've bought a lot of gear over the years. Some of it was the right call. Some of it I look back and I think I could have gotten there a little bit smarter. The cameras I have now though, the FX3 and the A7 IV, I genuinely don't feel the urge to upgrade at all. Not because I'm not interested in the new tech, of course I am, I love gear, I love tech, but because nothing out there really solves a problem that I actually have. The new FX2, the new A7 V, those cameras are great, but I don't need it, and my current gear does everything I need. And that's the place you want to get to. I like to think of that as a gear confidence, knowing what it can do and spending intentionally when something genuinely moves you forward and is going to help you to create better content. If this video has helped shift how you think about the upgrade cycle, drop a comment. I'd love to know where you are in your current setup, and if you're figuring out what camera to get started with, I'll link some stuff below. I'll see you guys in the next one, man, and thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe and like, man. Peace, man. Appreciate you guys if you made it this far. Thank you.